Welcome to In the Life. I'm Elin Harris. With underground institutions like the Harlem Coming Out Balls and Boston Marriages, gays and lesbians have long created spaces for ourselves in societies that don't automatically make space for us. We have now claimed rooms of our own in neighborhoods and novels, in sports and politics. In these places, what is personal becomes political. The very act of gays and lesbians claiming personal space makes that space a political territory. But we have built our homes, and over the course of the 20th century, we began to insist on being at home in the world. Tonight, on In the Life, Stealing Home. Next, a clash within a community. Chicago's Lakeview thrived when gay men moved in and gentrified the area into Boys Town. But now, the neighborhood's very prosperity is pushing its gay businesses out.
This is Chicago's North Halsted Street. Some say it has the country's highest concentration of gay-owned and operated businesses. Affectionately known as Boys Town, gay men and lesbians from the world over visit the Strip for experiences they can write home about. And they spend money. Some $350 million a year is pumped into the city's economy by this neighborhood alone. Mayor Daley has praised the street's diversity and marked it with these rainbow pillars. But the businesses are worried. The neighborhood is changing, and they feel threatened.
Welcome, welcome.
Sean Smith runs a bed and breakfast on Halsted Street in the heart of Boys Town. He says despite how 9/11 affected tourism in the rest of the city, business along the street has been good.
Halsted is a trophy street nationwide. I mean, and I get a lot of people here from Europe to London. They love Chicago. We've been doing well, knock on wood, and hope to continue to.
LGBT travelers stay longer and spend more money than the typical visitor. The draw? A concentration of more than 20 clubs, along with a variety of retail stores and novelty shops.
The traveler that comes to Chicago is somewhat spoiled because you don't need a car, and you can literally visit, 8 to 10 of these bars in one evening, which is nice. And just, like they like to say, stumble home from the bars and not worry about taking a cab or anything, and it's very safe.
And Halsted years ago was not a nice place, was not a place you'd want to walk down at night.
Resident Rick Ingram has been involved in the neighborhood for 20 years. He says that the $3.5 million the city spent on the look of the street was just the finishing touches on what LGBT businesses spent years creating.
It's concrete and it's pylons and it's streetscaping, but it's much more than that. It really is the recognition that the city gave to all the work that's been done.
But the community may be the victim of its own success. Developers now see profits in selling high-end condominiums along the entertainment strip.
Residents move in, they like it quiet. They don't want to be necessarily involved in the hubbub of a vibrant commercial strip, and those conflicts threaten the commercial district quite significantly.
Businessmen and residents worked together when this condo was built next to a gay bathhouse, but when another condo was built next to this late-night dance club, the new residents complained.
Even though that we were here first, it didn't matter.
Mike Macharello owns Circuit Nightclub. He spends a lot of his time now monitoring sound levels, ever since his new neighbors protested to the city.
We were taken to the liquor commissioner, and we had to sit in front of the liquor commissioner and listen from him.
He told Macharello to make his neighbors happy, turn down the music. Macharello, knowing his liquor license was in jeopardy, complied, but not without consequences.
Yes, it did affect our business, and I believe that if we can't make it, then it's somewhat of a domino effect with a larger club, and then it could really happen to anyone.
And it was really polarizing, but it was really getting nasty.
Circuit is in Alderman Helen Schiller's ward. After inheriting the problem from another alderman, she's been leading discussions between Circuit and the condo owners.
I learned a lot about planning, and I learned a lot about building community, because we had to get to a point. We had to start at a point of building trust. We couldn't go anywhere if the trust wasn't there.
One solution is letting Circuit move its dance floor to another part of their building, away from the condo. Another is a city ordinance restricting further development. But it's too late for this project, with its balconies overlooking another one of Halstead's popular late-night clubs.
The concern is that those residents that buy in are going to have the same problem that the people up the street had on that club, and that there'll be the same types of conflicts, and that's a real problem.
Not so, says the first one to buy into the new structure. B&B owner Smith likes the locale and thinks investing on Halstead is smart. He advocates educating prospective neighbors on the character of the street.
Well, I'll be living in there, and I want to tell them, what's going to be happening, and obviously we'll have a board, and I'd like to be on that and bring a little common sense to the table.
That's not to say that he doesn't think the bars have responsibilities.
You don't want loitering in front of a bar at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go home, So that's up to the bar owner to take care of that.
There is one development along Halstead that everyone seems to welcome, the creation of an LGBT community center.
We think of it as really being a draw for people, something that brings people to a particular area, and something that keeps people in the area over the long term. And we think Center on Halstead is going to be a true anchor for the street of Halstead itself.
With approximately 95,000 square feet for cultural, sporting, and community events, it will be the largest center of its kind in the country. Circuit's owner is eager to welcome it to the neighborhood.
The center on Halstead Street is an incredible thing for Halstead Street and for the community. I was very, very excited to see that the city of Chicago paid attention to the community enough to invest into our future.
And while that future unfolds, Chicago's LGBT community will be staying to help shape it.
Some of those folks worked for 20 years or more to make that street what it is. They took that street back from street gangs and boarded up buildings to make it a vibrant business community. And I don't think they're about to sit down and sit aside and let that thing go down and be overrun by residences.